You're watching Wanted with me, Jonathan. Mobile phones have been the greatest invention of the 21st century, so everyone should own a cell phone, right? But what happens when someone doesn't own one and end up getting killed? Here is one such scenario that will definitely leave you shocked. Take a look.
In today's day and age, everyone in Bengaluru has a cell phone and knows to operate it. Whether it is a 12-year-old or a retiree, one thing no one can live without these days is a phone. While there have been many reports of how the cell phone has been misused, no one will even dream of banning it for one reason. It is the all-in-one emergency kit that anyone needs. Caught a late-night cab? Just text your friends or family the cab number. Got stranded on your way to work? Drop a text. There is no arguing that a cell phone is a need in today's age. But you will be shocked to know that a cell phone is still a luxury item in many parts of the state. You may have guessed that such places may be remote rural villages. You guessed that right. But why are we stressing so much on the need for cell phones? To answer that question, you will have to look at the locality from where our story has been reported from. Any guesses which district this is? This is Kalaburagi's Afzalpur Taluk. More specifically, this is Badadla village in Afzalpur. People in this village are not so well off. That is because the weather here can be extreme. On one side, there is no rain for most parts of the year, and when it does, it causes severe flooding. This village, however, has managed to escape the wrath of the rain gods this time thanks to its relatively higher altitude. But still, people here can barely rely on agriculture to support their livelihood. This is 60-year-old Manohar. He too belongs to one such farming family. His family owns about 3 acres of land in the village. But he had not cultivated his land for years. Instead, he worked as a driver for most part of his life. Manohar was too busy to settle down in his younger days and had decided to get married when he was to retire. Manohar retired about 6 years back after he could not drive anymore. His family convinced him to get married so his wife could take good care of him. The family looked for a suitable bride and then they found Sumitra. Sumitra was just 29 years old at the time. This may not be very late to get married if you are an independent city dweller. But in a stereotypical society like Kalaburagi's rural villages, this is way past the prime age to get married. So Sumitra wasn't getting any great offers either. So she decided to get married to Manohar as he was her best bet at a better life. But Sumitra came with a certain baggage. Sumitra had adopted her elder sister's daughter and was raising her alone. Sumitra had adopted Aarti after her mother had died when she was an infant. Sumitra loved the girl dearly and had sacrificed her own life to take care of her. She told Manohar about her situation and he was more than glad to marry Sumitra and accept Aarti as his daughter. He realized that he was past his prime and that Aarti was a blessing in disguise. The family lived happily for the last 6 years. Manohar lived a happy retired life. Sumitra worked as an assistant in a private school and was capable of caring for her daughter and husband. Everything was going well for the family. They were happy with the small and secluded life they were living. But one thing that always bothered Sumitra was that she had lost communication with the outside world. Everyone in the school where she worked had a cell phone. They all kept in touch with their relatives, but Sumitra did not have one. She told her husband that she would like a phone, but he did not know anything about technology, being from a rural area. Neither he nor his wife and child had a phone. If their relatives wanted to contact them, they would call on their friends' phones and the message would reach them when their friends met them. On Tuesday evening, one of Sumitra's friends received a call. The message that was to be delivered to Sumitra was urgent in nature. Sumitra's aunt had passed away. As soon as Sumitra got the message, she called another friend and informed her daughter and husband. Now you must know that people in small villages are typically more closer to each other than people in cities. And when someone in their family circle dies, everyone makes it a point to pay their respects. So Sumitra told her daughter and husband about her plan. She told her daughter to go to her relative's house immediately. She told her husband that she would finish up her work at school and leave for her relative's house. Manohar told Sumitra that he would come the next morning. Each of them had made their own plan. Had they all decided to go together, they could have averted a major disaster. Someone was murdered. Sumitra's relative's house was just a 15-minute walk away from their house. They had to walk through a field to reach the relative's house. But on the way, one of them would end up dead. Was it Sumitra? Was it her husband? Or was it her daughter? Sumitra was murdered. Yes, just look at the crime scene here. Look at how Sumitra is lying lifeless. We have blurred the visuals here, but we can tell you for a fact that whoever had killed her had strangled her and even left the veil right there. But Sumitra's family did not know that she was dead until someone came running and told the family about it. The first to hear of the news was Manohar. Some people who had gone to the farm in the morning had noticed that a woman was lying dead. It wasn't long before they identified her as Sumitra. They ran to inform Manohar. Manohar assumed that his wife had reached her relative's home, but she hadn't. Her daughter assumed she would come with her father, but Sumitra didn't. That is because she was murdered on the way. The farmers who found her body called the cops. The cops came to the crime scene and they knew that she had been murdered even before the forensic team could come to the spot.
ಇವತ್ತು ಅಫ್ಜಲ್ಪುರ ಠಾಣಾ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಹಿಳೆಯ ಶವ ನಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪತ್ತೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಮಹಿಳೆ ಹೆಸರು ಸುಮಿತ್ರಾ, ಗಂಡ ಮನೋಹರ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ. ಸಾವಿನ ನಿಖರ ಮೋಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಮೇಲ್ನೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಕೊಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿನ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಈ ಒಂದು.
One look at the body and it was clear to the cops that it was a murder. They had found a veil around her neck along with the ligature marks. There were also marks of Sumitra's struggle before her death at the crime scene. But then the whole village had heard of Sumitra's death. Her family, which was not very far away, came to the crime scene to see what had happened to Sumitra. None of them could understand what had happened to her.
ಶಾಲೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆಯಮ್ರಿ,
ಖಾಸಗಿ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ.
ಹಾಂ ಅವರು ನಿನ್ನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಯವ್ರ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿತ್ತು ರೀ.
ಯಾರಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಯಿಗೆ?
ಆರಾಮ್ ತಪ್ಪು ಜರಾಗಿ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರತ್ರಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಣ್ಣು ಕೊಡಕಂತ ಹೊಂಟಿದ್ರಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣನ ದೋಸ್ತ ಇದ್ರಿ. ತಯಾರಾಗಿ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾವಿ ಅಂತ್ರೆ ಸಾಲಿನ ಚಾವಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದಿತ್ತು ರೀ. ಅದು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಚಾವಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಡಿ ಬಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ರೀ. ನಿಂತು ಸಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣಗೆ ಹಚ್ಕೊಟ್ಟೇನೆ ಕರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾವಿ ಇತ್ತೈತೆ ರೀ ಮನೆ ಬಾಕ್ಲು. ಚಾವಿ ಹಾಕ್ಯಾರತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನಂದ ರಿಫೀಟ್ ಭಾಳ ಬಂದು ನಾವು ಹೋಗೋ ನಡಿತಂಗಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವ್ರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮರಿಗೆ. 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಹಚ್ಚಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಮ್ಮಿ ರೀ. ಅವ್ರು ಸಾಲಿಂದು ವ್ಯಾನ್ ನಡ್ಸೋರ ಕೈಲಿ ರೀ.
ಏನಂತ
ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ರೀ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದೇವು ಮಮ್ಮಿ ನೀ ಬಾ ಅಂದ್ಯಾರ. ಆಯಿತು ನಾವು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅತ್ತಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆಯಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಹೇಳಿನಿ. ಅವ್ರು ನಾಳೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಂಬಂದಾರ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರು ರೀ.
Everyone asked the cops as to what had happened to her. Though the cops had ruled that it was a murder, they had to wait for the forensic team to reveal any other details.
ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬಾಡಿ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ವೈದ್ಯರು ಬರಬೇಕು. ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮಗೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಶವಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಅವರು ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ನಡೆಸಿದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಂಶಗಳು ಅಡಗಿದೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತವೆ.
Sumitra's daughter was the first to arrive at the crime scene. She was inconsolable. The cops realized that she must be Sumitra's daughter. The cops wanted to know more about Sumitra so they could determine why and who may have wanted to kill her.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಲ್ರಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಮ್ಮಾರು ಸರಿ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರ ರೀ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಮ್ಮಾರು ಬಿ ಇಲ್ರಿ, ಪಪ್ಪ ಬಿ ಇಲ್ರಿ. ನಂಗೆ ಅವರೇ ಜಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ.
ಸಣ್ಣ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ.
3 ತಿಂಗಳು ಕೂಸಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರೇ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ.
ನೀವು ಒಬ್ಬಾಕಿ ಈಗ ಇರೋದು?
ನಾವು ಒಬ್ಬಾಕಿನೇ ರೀ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ರೀ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
The cops assumed Sumitra had a phone and asked her daughter when she had spoken to her last. But they realized that the last time Sumitra had spoken to her was when she called from school. Aarti told the cops that her father may know more about Sumitra's whereabouts. So the cops waited for him to come. At first, they couldn't believe that Manohar was her husband because of the age gap. But when they spoke to him, they learnt that Sumitra had returned from work at around 5 p.m. and that she had left for her relatives almost immediately. But she hadn't reached the venue. She was murdered on the way. It was only the next morning when the farmers came to the fields that the people noticed Sumitra was dead.
ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ರೀ. ಮಣ್ಣು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ. ಈ ಸತ್ತಾರನ ಬಡ್ದಾದಾಗ ಸತ್ತಾರನ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಹೋಗು ತಂಗಿ ನಾ ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಯಾಡ್ರಿ ಆಕಿ. ನಾ ಈಗ ತಂಗಿ ತಂದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಂಟ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರತ್ತಾನೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳತ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ. ನಾ ಹೆಣ್ತಿದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳತ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ.
The cops registered a complaint based on the statements the family gave them. But the information they had was not enough for them to crack the case. Just then, Sumitra's mother arrived at the crime scene to see her. They thought she may know something that the family didn't and tried to speak to her.
ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ರೀ ಈ ಕೆಡದ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಏನು ಆಗ್ಯದ ರೀ. 6 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗ್ಯದ ರೀ. 6 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗ್ಯದ ರೀ. ಮಾತಾಕಿ ದಾವತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಾರ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬತಿತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಾಲು ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ.
ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
ಆಕೆ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಓದ್ತೀವ್ರಿ. ಶಾಲೆ ತುಕ್ಕೊಳಗೆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವ್ರಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ದೊಡ್ಡವ ಸತ್ತಾಳ ನಾನು ಆಕೆ ಬಂದಾಳ್ರಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೊಂಟು ಬಂದಾಳ್ರಿ. ನಮಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲರಿ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಇದು ಸಂಜೆ ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತಾನ ಗಂಡ. ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಖೂನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಓಡಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವ್ರಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಸಣ್ಣಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೇವ್ರಿ ಅಪ್ಪ ಕಾಲು ಬೀಳ್ತಾನೆ ನಿಮಗೆ.
The cops realized that the family did not know anything about what had happened. They thought their best bet would be to ask Sumitra's friends and neighbors. That is when cops heard chatter that Sumitra may have had an affair. Yes, that is what some people were talking about. People who knew Sumitra well told the cops that there was a man who Sumitra had been close to. They alleged that she was even having an affair with him. The family obviously did not know anything about it. But the cops did not have any other leads, so this is one angle that they are going to investigate.
ಮೇಲ್ನೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕಂತೂ ಇದು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇದರ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಳು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಅಫೇರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಯಾವ ಥರದ್ದು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಖಾತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ತನಿಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Meanwhile, Manohar claims that his wife was loyal to him. Sumitra used to support her retired husband and her daughter by herself. Now that she's gone, Manohar is worried as to how he will run his household.
ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕುನ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರಿ ಖಾಸ ಸಭೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತ್ರಿ
ಹ್ಞೂ
ದುಡ್ದು ಹಾಕ್ತೇಳ್ರಿ ಅದೇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ ನನಗೆ
ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ದುಡ್ದು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರ
ಹಾಕ್ತೇಳ್ರಿ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಯಾಕಾಳ್ರಿ
ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ ಕೆಲಸ?
ನಾ ಏನಿಲ್ರಿ ಮೊದಲು ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಮಾಡೀನಿ ಬಾಂಬೆದಾಗ ಈಗ ಮನೆಗೆ ಕೂತಿಲ್ಲಕತ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಯಾಕಾಳ್ರಿ ನಾ ಸುಳ್ಳು ನನಗೆ ಜಮಾಸಲ್ರಿ ಅವ ಸ್ವಂತ ಸಭೆ ಹದ್ರಿ ಕಾಸ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗ್ರಿ ನನಗೆ.
But what is truly sad about this case is that Sumitra's death was only known the next day. She had no way of warning her family that she may be under threat. Even if someone had ambushed her and killed her, there was no way the family could have found out she was dead the previous night. At a time when mobiles are cheaper than ever and connectivity is strong in the most remotest of places, it is sad to say that people have failed to adapt to modern times. If only Sumitra had a phone, who knows, her murder could have been averted. It is too late for her now, but this could serve as an example for rural couples to not discriminate women when it comes to the usage of technology. After all, it may be the deciding factor when it is a matter of life or death. Sanjay for News 9 Kalaburagi.